y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, it is Leah with a Y, and today's video is going to be another story time. And I want to tell y'all about a time when two people got kicked out for doing the do, you know what I'm saying, like for being nasty and stuff like that, and how one person how one out of those two people were banned from ever coming back to the center. Or at least as far as that's what he said anyways. So let's get into the story, and y'all, this is gonna be a good one. Okay, so boom, the year is 2016. That's 2 years before I came. Now, when you date somebody, you know, it's customary that, you know, y'all take it to the next step. Like, it's normal for people to do that, you know, and they did. They took it to the next step, and they started being, you know, sexually active and stuff like that. And so they did. Now, in the rules of the training center, you are not allowed to, like, it doesn't say you can't date, and it doesn't say you can't be sexually active. You can't do it at the center though. Like, if you're gonna do that, you have to, like, you know, go somewhere privately and do it. And then if you do decide you're gonna do it at the center, you better be damn good at sneaking around and doing it without getting caught. Now, there were a couple people who were good at doing this very thing, and they never got caught. And so for a while, Tracy and James were really good at it. They, you know, they snuck around and did it where they could, you know, when nobody was watching. But you know, when you get good at something, you know, when men get good at doing something, men get real sloppy. And women do too. Like if y'all start cheating or whatever, you know, men, y'all get real sloppy because you feel like, oh, I haven't been caught in all this time, so she ain't gonna catch me. You know, she ain't gonna catch me now. If I ain't been caught then, I ain't gonna never get caught. If I haven't been caught now, I won't ever get caught. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So, you know, they're doing it for a while. And you know, when you're sneaking, it feels good. Like, you don't think about you don't think about getting caught. Because you're like, oh my gosh, like, it's fun when you're sneaking and nobody knows about it. So one weekend, or however it went, one day, they were upstairs. She went into his room. And the way the training center is set up, on one side, like on the left side of the, like, sitting area of the living quarters, that's where the girls stay. And the girls have their own rooms, and like some of them may have roommates. And then when you walk out into the living quarters, there's a room, like, right there by the elevator. That's where they put people if they run out of rooms. And it's right next to the elevator. And then when you walk past the elevator and you go, there's another room on that side of the elevator. When you're walking towards the guy's side of the living quarters, they have like staff rooms where the staff sleeps. There are a couple rooms on the girls' side where staff sleeps. There are like rooms on both sides where basically the staff who stay overnight, where they sleep at. But once you pass those rooms and you pass all the chairs and all the seating where you can sit at, now you're in forbidden territory, and you're not allowed to cross the threshold. You can stop over where the hallway starts. But once you step on the floor, you know, you're in the boys' hallway, right? So that's what she did. She entered the forbidden territory. And so they were in his room, and according to James, they hadn't got into doing the nasty yet. They were still, you know, naked. They were planning on it. But before they could even get their clothes off and get entangled in each other, they ended up getting caught. And I think what tipped people off was the fact that they hadn't been showing up to dinner. If y'all are gonna sneak, at least try to keep your routine as normal as possible. Don't give off vibes that something is going on or something is up. This is what I mean when I say people get sloppy when they start sneaking and doing shit, because they didn't even take the time to, like, to try to be normal. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're gonna do that, be normal. And also, if you're gonna sneak, like I said, know the schedules of the staff. Know when they make their rounds. You know, first of all, know who's on the schedule to work. Know who and get to learn the staff and their personalities and whether they're chill or they're strict or whatever. You can't just be out here all willy-nilly doing whatever the fuck you want to do and being carefree about the situation. Like, you can't be like that. That's just not, you just can't, right? So basically they got caught and they got kicked out of the center because you cannot do that. You know what I'm saying? And then too, there were also a lot of accusations going on where, girls were accusing guys of, because they either didn't want to be with them or they didn't get their way, etc., etc. But, you got kicked out because you violated one of the rules. So, they got kicked out of the center. Now they're going home. James decides that he would smear his shit all over the bathroom walls and the toilet and shit. And the only reason why I know this is because a lot of the staff, not staff, but a lot of the girls and, people that I went to high school with, they always talk about that incident all the time. They talk about it all the time. Apparently this happened when they went to the center, like back in 2016 or whatever. So they always talk about that very incident. Now, when you ask James, he'll say that it was his roommate, but people were like, nah, they didn't see his roommate doing something like that. So they definitely said it was him. So he was banned, I believe, from even coming to the center. Like, he wasn't even allowed to stay. And because of him and a host of other shit going that had went on, the center now has cameras. They have cameras in there, in the gym area, I think now, like pretty much all over the building. So that now they can see what's going on. That way they don't have to rely on, like, he said, she said. They can just run the cameras back. So, but that's not even the juicy part of it. Now that Tracy's mother has found out, Tracy's mom is in a hissy fit. You know what I'm saying? She's pissed off. She's hot. She's pretty upset, and she has every right to be, because it's like, you done came up here and you done got kicked out of the center. You know what I'm saying? But this is a grown woman. Tracy was 24 at the time, and her mom was still very much in her business. One thing to know about Tracy is that she may have been 24, but in her mind, she was more of like a teenager. And I think she had some like medical issues that happened to her when she was younger. So I feel like that may be the reason for that. But anyways, so she had kind of like the mind of a teenager. Her mom really blew it out of proportion, and her mom was like, she didn't agree to this. This is not like her. Da 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 da. Your daughter's 24 years old. Your daughter gets hot in her pants just like any other woman who's, with a man, and they're touching and kissing and rubbing all up on each other. It's bound to happen. You know what I'm saying? So she and James, Tracy's mom and James get into it. And, she starts to say that you gave my daughter herpes, accusing him of giving her daughter an STI, things like that. And he says that he wants to get a test done. He says, my mom is a nurse, and, we can get the test results back. So I can show you that I have not been messing with anybody. I know who I've been messing around with. He never had herpes. She never had herpes. His mom was just saying that. Then his mom also threatened, I believe, to shoot him as well, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah. Now, a year after that, James and I started dating, and he did bring up this story to me. And the year after that, when I went to the center, she confirmed the story. I didn't know at the time, but the girl he was telling me about in the story was Tracy. So he has not been back up to the center since then, because he felt like the higher ups and how they handled the situation was wrong. And even though James was a troublemaker and always kind of did things, to get himself into trouble or to start some trouble, that is not a reason for anybody to be accusing someone of doing something that they didn't do. And it's not a reason, for him to not be believed. And so he hasn't been back up there ever since then, because it left a sour taste in his mouth, as it should, as he should, and he shouldn't come back if he feels that way. But she has been back up there a couple more times after that. And so there are a couple other stories I can tell about Tracy, but I figured that this one would be the juiciest one. And, as far as I know, she hasn't humped on any other guys since she's been there, since the last couple times that she's been there. Yeah, but Tracy is something else with herself. She really, really is. So that's the story of how Tracy and James got kicked out. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. I hope that this video was entertaining. If you all have not done so already and you're new and you're just now stumbling across my channel, do me a solid and subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that way you can be notified of when I drop another video. That way you'll be the first to see it. Also, be sure to like this video and leave me some comments and give me some engagement under this video, so that way I can know what y'all like and don't like and what you want to see, etc., etc. And follow me on my social medias, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. Twitter is the same as my YouTube. So I will see you all in the next video. Y'all take care.